Hey, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects, and in this video we're going to be checking out 10 solid-state amps that I think are awesome for doom metal music. If I missed one on this list, drop a comment below. And if you want to talk about pedals and gear or share pictures of your amps and your setups, check out the Fuzzlord Effects Discord server. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Alright, we're back for another top 10 doom metal amps video. This one's going to be all solid state amplifiers because I don't think I featured enough of them in the last video. If you want to talk about amps more, or pedals, DIY pedal stuff, check out the Fuzzlord Discord server. There's a link below this video. And also, if you haven't checked out the other video, there's a top 10 doom metal amps video that is mostly tube amps. So I'm sitting down on my computer with my little wiener dog, Jimmy. Here he is posing for the black metal album he's working on. Let's get started. Be sure to drop a comment below with some of your favorite solid state doom metal amps. So the first amp on the list today is the Acoustic 370 bass amplifier. This is one of those amps that I see pop up a lot in people's rigs. I've never had a chance to play one, but I sure would like to. So if you have any thoughts or opinions on it, drop them in the comments below. If you've played one, I'm really curious to know what you think. Acoustic is a really cool company, and they easily have some of the coolest promo photos I've ever seen for amplifiers. Something about large amplifiers with big cabs out in nature just really does it for me. This is traditionally a bass amplifier, but they take guitars really well from what I understand. And of course, if you're playing doom metal and using low tunings like C and below, I think a bass amplifier would likely work really well for you. Next up on the list today is going to be the PV Musician. They made a few different models of this amplifier, and there were 70 solid state amplifier that has become really popular with doom metal guitar players as well as bass players. So there's a few different iterations of this amplifier. They got some built-in effects. It's a dual channel amplifier that has a pretty cool EQ on this iteration of it. So they got low and high, or low bass, low mids, and then kind of your standard bass and mid controls. I'm curious to know if you've ever played one of these, what you think of them. PV just made some really cool stuff in the 70s. Another honorable mention is going to be the PV Roadmaster. Not the Road Apprentice, that's the Roadmaster. So if you got any love for solid state PV amps, drop a comment below. I forget the model of that little practice amp that PV made, but that amplifier has actually showed up on a lot of really cool recordings, like Queens of the Stone Age stuff, ZZ Top, and a whole bunch of others. But this is just a really cool amplifier. Here's another iteration of the PV Musician. This is the 400. Just a little over 200 watts on this one, dual channel amp, and has the low and high two-band EQ as well as the graphic EQ over here. The third amp on the list today is the Trainer TS50B, all solid state amplifier that has a really cool overdrive tone in it. I believe there's a couple companies that have made pedals based off of this preamp. I believe it's called the Rusty Box. Correct me if I'm wrong. Really cool amplifier. I used to have one of these, and I dropped it and broke my toe with it. It was a not my favorite day. I was a little annoyed with this amplifier. Really cool amp, though. My personal opinion, they're a great guitar amp. I don't think 50 watts is really enough for most people to play bass in a band. This thing powered a 2x15 cab that sounded really cool. The first band I played in when I was like 15 years old, this is what I played. The TS50B with a 2x15 cab, and I played a Fender jazz bass. Didn't have quite the volume that I was looking for, but I sold it a couple of years ago after holding on to it for a long time, and I can tell you that I regret selling it. Number 4 on the list today is going to be the Orange Super Crush or the Crush 120. They're kind of interchangeable in my mind. From what I understand, this amp is loosely based on the Rocker Verb, but it's an all solid state version of the amp. I used to have the Crush 120. I've been thinking about picking up a Super Crush to do a demo with on the channel. If you'd like to see a demo, drop a comment below and give me some riff ideas for this amp. It's got a clean channel and a dirty channel that's switchable. I think the clean channel takes pedals really well. So it has a volume control, like a gain control basically, and a 2-band bass treble tone stack that I'm assuming is going to be similar to the classic James or Backsandal tone stack that Orange has been using for a long time. The dirty channel has a 3-band bass, middle, and treble tone stack with a gain and a master volume. The deal with the master volume is you're going to be able to turn this down lower and turn up the gain to get a really heavy overdrive distortion tone without a whole lot of output volume. Then over here, these are the controls that work no matter what mode you're in or what channel you're using. It's got a built-in reverb and then a master volume. So I'm pretty sure that this one has a DI output for recording, which is really awesome. And what else we got going on? I think one of the coolest things about this amplifier is it's a 100-watt Class AB power amp, the same one that's in the Petal Baby, and it just has a real nice tone compared to like a Class D solid state amplifier. All right, so here we go. The Crush 100 features XLR output with a cab sim built into it. So really cool option if you just want to record direct into a DAW without like cranking a speaker cab. And everybody I talk to thinks that this sounds really good. I kind of wish that they left off the cab sim, off of the XLR output, so that we could use different IR cab sims that you can like download, but that is a really cool feature. It's got an effects loop, so if you like to run your time-based pedals in an effects loop, this amp has you covered. I don't really know what else to say about this amp other than I think for the price, this is probably one of the best bang for a buck amplifiers that's currently in production from Orange that shows up a lot in the doom metal music scene. All right, this one's going to be more for the sludge metal folks out there. This is the Randall RG100 ES. If you want to check out what they sound like, this is a really good video checking out the amplifier. So this amplifier with a Boss metal zone is pretty much the sound of New Orleans sludge metal. So bands like Acid Bath, Goat Whore, Crowbar have all checked out the Randall RG100 ES. From what I understand, this amp is out of production, but you can still find them pretty affordably on the used market. Curious to know if anybody's checked out the more modern iteration of the Randall RG100. I believe the biggest difference on these is going to be a 3-channel amp instead of a 2-channel amp, like the 100 ES. So if you're looking for that sludge metal guitar tone, one of these with a Boss Metal Zone will get you there. Next up on the list is going to be the Sun Concert Lead Amplifier. Another amp that I haven't had a chance to play, but I'd really like to. But they do show up a lot in doom metal amp rigs. This is a video from Fuzz Drones on YouTube, so if you want to check out what one of these amps sounds like in a doom metal context, check out this video. It's also got the Sun Beta lead, so I'm kind of going to stick the concert lead, the beta lead, and the beta bass all as one kind of Sun offering. Sun is re-releasing the beta lead. I'm not sure if they're doing the concert lead, but the biggest difference with the newer ones is they're going to be a Class D solid state output section versus a Class AB solid state output section like the originals. Next up on the list is going to be the custom K100 head and cab. I played one of these once in the guitar store. They're pretty loud. What they really are is just one of the coolest looking amplifiers I've ever seen. I really like the tuck and roll upholstery that they did on these. So if you ever get a chance to play one in a guitar store, definitely check it out. Not one of the most popular amps in doom metal, but for the solid state top 10 amps, I think this one's definitely making the list on looks alone. All right, we mentioned the concert lead just a minute ago. That was kind of a twofer, a little 2-for-1. Again, check out the Fuzz Drones YouTube channel if you want to hear what the concert lead sounds like, as well as the beta lead and the beta bass. Oh shit, he's even got the PV musician up there. So this is a really good video to check out, an audio demo. Next up on the list is going to be another version of the beta bass, the beta lead. If I was shopping for a beta style amplifier, I'd probably pick up a Hillbish, just my personal opinion. And I would be leaning towards this one, the 700 watt version. The deal with a lot of solid state amplifiers, a lot of people talk about how tube output power is just so much more than solid state, and there's all this confusion around it. There's some validity to the statement, but really what's going on with most of these solid state amps is they were meant to drive low resistance speakers, or low impedance speakers, I should say. So most of these solid state amps were set up to drive a 4 ohm load, and tube guitar amps are usually 8 or 16. So if you do the basic electronics equations, P equals IV, power equals current times voltage, if you do a little algebra, and not algebra, but if you do a little substitution with V equals IR, you can get that power is equal to V squared over R. R is our speaker cab in this scenario. So if you can just imagine P equals V squared over R, the rating of the speaker cab, the impedance of the speaker cab is going to have quite a bit to do with the amount of output power it's actually able to put out. Long story short, most of us have 8 and 16 ohm guitar cabs laying around. So if we start running a solid state amplifier that is meant to drive a 4 ohm load, and it's rated at like 100 watts, if we use a 16 ohm cab, our output power is going to go down significantly. So definitely with a solid state, I definitely recommend going higher wattage if possible. So if you haven't checked out Hillbish amps before, they make some really cool stuff. So if you want something that has a good amount of output power but doesn't weigh a ton and is small and compact, maybe something you want to travel with for like a fly-in gig or something, I think the Orange Petal Baby 100 is a really cool offering from Orange. That's a Class AB power section, so it's going to sound really good. And I believe the preamp on this is pretty similar to the clean channel from the orange Super Crush or Crush 120. So that's wrapping up our list for today. If I missed any amps that you think should be on the list, drop a comment below. One thing I'll add that some people are getting into now is using solid state power amps. So no preamp involved. They're just using power amps. If you got one that you think is really good, drop a comment below so everybody else can check it out. The deal is some people are choosing to run solid state power amps and then use like a preamp pedal like the Fuzzlord FET 120 or the Electronic Audio Experiments Model FET or a bunch of other like pedals or even like a rack mount preamp. So the idea behind that is that they're just getting a whole bunch of actual power from a power amp to drive the speakers, but no coloration from it having a preamp. Then you're able to swap out whatever preamp you'd like to use. Here we go. So a lot of people are running these things as like a rack mount unit. And you can usually get a lot of watts for the dollars per watt. You know what I'm saying? The cool thing about solid state amps, you're going to get a lot more wattage for the price. If you ever hear me talk about dollars per watt on the channel, that's kind of what I'm referring to. Like a 100-watt tube amplifier might cost you somewhere around like $1,500 to $2,000 brand new. But if you went solid state, the price is going to be significantly less than that. So if you've got a favorite rack mount solid state power amp, drop a comment below. All right, thanks for watching. Be sure you drop that comment below and let me know some of your favorite solid state amps for doom metal music. I also want to give a big special thank you to Jonas, Jacob, Corey, and Bayu Slavic, longtime supporters on the Patreon page. If you want to talk about some amps with other folks, share your rig, check out the Discord server in the link below. I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects. I'll talk to you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.